Hello, everybody. We are live. I am Hone Tai, and today we are going to be talking about where we are in today's market. Now, nobody can tell you. Nobody can really tell you unless there's somebody who is actually creating the market. There are market makers, but to predict a downturn, to predict where we are exactly, that is just about near impossible. But we can do our best, right? And how we do our best is we look at the past. We look at the past. Now, the last crash we had was in 2008, and before that was, I think, 2000, 2001. And what people say is, wow, every 8 years, every 10 years we crash. Well, from 2008 to 2020, where we are today, that's been 12 years. So we have not been historically performing. We have not been repeating the past. But does that mean that we won't? Does that mean that we will not repeat that same past? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at a few things. And the first thing I wanted to take a look at was this graph here. So some of you guys have no idea what this graph is, but this is usually how the market performs, how the market acts. Now, if we are looking at where we are today, so let's say we are in 2020, if you guys have been paying attention to the market, if you guys have been taking a look, we have been going up and up and up and up. So maybe we are somewhere here. This is just a maybe. I don't know for sure, because what if we were still here, right? What if we were here and we had this many more years to go, right? Maybe this is the year 2030 at this dot here. Maybe that's the year 2030, and maybe this is 2020. That's 2020, right? Maybe we have all that growth. Maybe we have all of this. Uh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I buy into that. I personally, for what it's worth, think we are maybe here. And feel free to chime in. Tell me if you agree, disagree. But I think we might be here. The climb that we've seen in the market has just been extraordinary, right? We've just been going up and up and up and up and up. So it's tough for me to believe that we can continue this growth, this I dare I say unsustainable growth. I don't know if it's unsustainable. I don't know. It's just how I see the market, but the growth has just been incredible. Now, what do we do? So if you buy into this graph, right? If you buy into this chart, what would you do? What would you do if you knew we were somewhere here, right? This is usually where you should sell, right? They buy low, sell high. So if you knew that we were here, then you would sell here, right? Because then you take the roller coaster ride down, and then you take the roller coaster ride down, and then you keep on going beyond that point there. Eventually you come back on the other side, and then you take the roller coaster back up. So if you believe that we are here, you should sell. And for those who sold, let's say for those who sold in 2000, I don't know, 2007, right? Let's say 2007 was right there. So from 2007 to the bottom right here, that was 2010, I believe. It could be slightly off, but around 2010 is where I think the bottom was. So if you sold there, if you sold here, and then you bought back here, if you bought back there, and let's say this, and then if this kept going, and we came back around to the loop, this is 2011. That's 2011, right? And then it just climbed and climbed and climbed until we got to 2020. So if you got on and got off the roller coaster ride at the exact moments that you were supposed to, you would have had a fantastic life in financing. Like, other things of your life could have been terrible, but that's what would have happened. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look at where people get in trouble. So at least this is my opinion. In 2008, we were at the high. Over here, it was 2010, 2011, right? And then we've just had positive growth throughout. We've just kept growing. Let me actually use a different color so that it's easier to see. So we've just kept going up and up and up, positive trend. We are here, somewhere around here, 2020, right? Somewhere on that line. And what happens, this is where people get in trouble. We have this term called irrational exuberance. Irrational exuberance. That's where you just have this positive outlook that things are going to be great forever and ever and ever and ever, right? So can you guys see this? Can you guys see this trend happening? Can you see this as a possibility that in year 2050, let's say, right? That's 30 years. 30 years that we just keep seeing this upward trend. I don't know. I think that's irrational exuberance. Now, uh, if if you're not in that ballpark, right? If you're not in the camp of irrational exuberance that we're not going to go up and up and up, then you might be somewhere here, right? So where it says we can be here, right here, where we could be here. Sorry, we could be here. So at this point, what you would do is you would sell your properties, you would sell your assets because we're at a high, and then possibly buy back when you're down here. Now, predicting when that might be, we don't know. And usually this time frame, as we saw last time from 2008 to 2010, 11, so that's anywhere from 2 to 3 years of this fall. So the fall takes 2 to 3 years, and then the climb back up. So let's say this was 2010 and this 2020. This climb was 20 years or 10 years. Sorry. So that climb is 10 years. The fall is 2 to 3 years, and then we have another climb if everything just followed the way it's supposed to happen or whatever. If it just kept following, we have another 10 years of growth. So if we are there, if we are here, right? If we are here in 2020 and then the market drops, then and if everything just followed suit the way it has, so from 20, let's say the drop doesn't occur until 2021. So that means in 2024, maybe 2025, that's another buying opportunity. Unless the fall takes longer, the recovery takes longer, right? So if we're there, 2024 is your buying opportunity. And then from 2024 till 2034, 2035, then you just have this incredible growth. The other question is, can this happen? Can we see this? Not that it can't happen, but it's just unsustainable. I think that's the key word here, unsustainability. Can this happen? Can it just keep on going up and up and up? The answer is yes, it can just keep on going up and up and up. But why? What needs to happen in order for that to happen is that your wages need to keep up. Your wages need to keep on going up at the same rate as the market's going up, as the same rate that inflation is going up. And what we've known in the past is that wages do not keep up. Wages do not keep up in the same way. And because wages do not keep up in the same way, it's unsustainable. So let's play out a game, right? Let's call this game how to get wealthy. How to play the game right, how to get wealthy. So let's take a look at some things. Right. So if we are here in 2020, let's say we are here, and let's say the house that we have, and we're just going to use very basic numbers, and I'll show you how to play this game. So let's say we can sell the houses at this point for $200,000. So we sell it for $200,000, and then when it crashes down here, the houses are $100,000, right? So you sold it for $200,000. That means you have and let's just do simple math. You have $200,000 in the bank. And then when you go to buy the house again, you buy it at $100,000. That means you got two houses, right? Because you have $200,000. You buy each house $100,000. You got two houses now, right? You used all your money, buy houses at this point, and then you ride the wave back up to $200,000. And so if you do that, two houses times 200K, that equals $400,000. That is how it works. That's how you buy low, sell high. But the thing is, you need to sell high and you got to buy low. And that's the trick, right? But this is how this would work. This is how you would take advantage of the situation. Now, how you really take advantage of the situation is you learn how to buy a ton of houses at the low without your own money. And so you can really, really rack up the numbers. So instead of buying, let me erase that real quick. Instead of buying instead of buying 2 houses at that point, you're buying 20 houses, right? And so if you're buying 20 houses and then they go up to $200,000, right? What are we looking at there? We talking 4 mil, right? We're talking 4 mil, and you bought all of the properties without your own money, right? You bought all these properties without your own money. So maybe you borrowed 100. No, I'm sorry. You borrowed 2 million, right? You borrowed 2 million to buy those 20 houses, not your own money. You borrowed 2 million to buy 20 houses, but then they all went to 200,000. So now you went to from 2 million to 4 million. You sold it, you paid everybody back. You made the cash flow in between. So now your worth is now $2 million because you learned how to play the game right. It's all about acquiring a significant amount of assets and then liquidating when the time is right. Now, what's cool is something else happened. Now we could have experienced this up and down, up and down, up and down, right? At the same time, there could be this unique little, like, not that it's going to look exactly like that, but what could happen, and this is real estate 7.0, 8.0, right? So, so now this is no longer the world or the whole United States. Maybe this is local, okay? Local economies. No. Oh man, I'm terrible. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, that's where I messed up. I'm like, there we go. Okay, local economies. Dang, good at math, bad at spelling. All right, so let's get rid of all this, right? So let's say these are local economies. Let me get rid of this so it's more clear. Let me show you real estate 7.0, right? So local economies can happen in multiple different ways. What happens is, so we got the $200,000 right here, right? So you're buying properties for 200, or you're selling your properties for $200,000 there, and at the same time, you're not waiting however long this is. Say this is 4 years, right? You're not waiting the 4 years. You're doing a nationwide search, and you're looking for different economies elsewhere that are experiencing something else. So what could that be? Well, right here, let me change the color, right? So right here, this is a different city, completely different city, completely different state, could be across the country, right? So maybe this here is Maine, okay? Up top, upper right-hand corner of our country, right? Upper right, northeast. And then this is south. Maybe this is Texas. Maybe this is Florida. Maybe this is something else, right? And some little city within Texas, some little city within Florida is starting to experience boom. Maybe they're getting a population growth because the economy is growing, because the job market's increasing. Maybe something like that is occurring. Right. So if that's happening in that part of the city, so what you're doing is you're selling here, selling for $200,000 there, but then you found this little city here, right? You found this opportunity right here, and so you take the funds from Maine and then you're putting it down into the south, which is like Florida or Texas or something like that, right? Let's just call it Texas. So then you're gonna take your money that you made in Maine, you sold at the height of Maine, and now people are moving out. Or like this could be, you guys see this in New York. New York is having its own little market, right? Right now, New York, people are fleeing New York and prices have dropped. But if you had sold a couple months ago, before the market dropped, like you'd be pretty good. You'd be riding high right there. And so if you sell at the high, and then you bought again over here in a different market, let's say you found a little city in Texas where everybody from New York is moving down to Texas, that's where the prices go up. So you're buying at this low, and then you're going to ride that wave until it gets high. And then you can sell here, right, in that market, and then maybe, just maybe, you buy back here in a different market. Maybe this is a completely different section of the world. Maybe this is Nevada or something like that. So you're buying in a different part because this one just boomed. So you can find local economies all across the country, different indicators. There's a low, there's a high in those specific cities. And there are there are triggers that tell you what is about to happen, whether it's going to go up, whether it's going to go down. So you use those little triggers to tell you that, hey, this is the time to sell, or hey, this is the time to buy. And you can do that over and over and over. And you keep doing that. And that this is where you buy low, sell high. You keep doing that. And then eventually you buy portfolio, legacy portfolio, as it's called, where you just hang on to that. You get the cash flow forever and ever and ever, and then you don't have to do any more of this work. You don't have to look at the spreadsheets. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. So by looking at the graphs, looking at what is required for a market to boom, why markets boom, why markets crash, knowing these different indicators, that'll help you play the real estate game a little better. So take a look at this. Just use this as a, I don't know, as some kind of indicator, some kind of strategy, right? So I'll show you guys this, right? So this happens, this little graph here, this happens everywhere. This happens in all cities, but it doesn't necessarily happen all at the same time. Not all cities boom and bust at the same time. Across the country, we may experience similar, but they don't all crash at the same rate, and they don't all come back up at the same rate. So with that, guys, hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this message, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.